It's an industry that I generally love. I have a passion for. I eat, sleep, I live for fitness.
No, you need to be obsessed. You need to wake up, think about it. You need to go to bed, think about your clients, think about your progress, think about what you can do better.
Genuinely, just be patient and take your time. That is you've got to take it all in the right steps. You've got to nail what you do in person before you go online.
I don't like to talk about fear. The fears is usually something that makes your worries real.
You are listening to the Coaching Ignited show, where we bring you stories and insights from coaches, fitness professionals and industry experts to help you expand your business and reach your goals. If you're a new listener, thanks for joining us. My name is Alex Povey. You can subscribe to the podcast on all your favorite apps, including Spotify and iTunes. The Coaching Ignited movement is on a mission to help coaches and personal trainers increase their sales and reach their full potential. If you wanted to find out more, please head over to CoachingIgnited.com. And if you wanted to connect with us on social media, all the details can be found in the show notes. Now let's get into today's show.
Welcome to another episode of the Coaching Ignited podcast. It's great to have you back with us. On this episode, we've got Koen Castelein from Belgium. He's the owner of Strength House Gym and co-founder of the online Thrive education program. And on this episode, we talk about how Strength House Gym came about and how Koen has created a supportive culture at his training facility. We look at Koen's philosophy towards working hard and really enjoying what you do and why this is important to long-term success in all aspects of fitness, education and business. We talk about Koen's partnership with Jake Carter and what led them to pair up and create Thrive Education and all their plans for the next 12 months. And we also talk about why it's so important to be upgrading your knowledge on a consistent basis. Supplement lines, mentorship and new products will also be discussed on this show, so I can't wait for you to dive in and listen to this episode. As always, let me know your thoughts, love getting your feedback, and I'll see you on the other side.
So we're live. Thank you for being here, Koen. Really appreciate it, buddy. We got there in the end. Bit of a tech issue getting going, but we got there.
Yeah. Happy to be here, mate. Thank you for having me.
Nah, awesome. And it was great training with you the other day. I was absolutely blown away by your knowledge and just your enthusiasm for training. It was amazing. And I know you've got a ton of stuff going on because it was hard to just lock you down for this podcast.
I've been really busy lately.
It's mad. We've got loads to talk about: SUPs, Thrive Education, Strength House, hypertrophy aspects. Where do you want to begin? Where do we start? What's keeping you busy right now?
Start at the beginning. I think Strength House was the first thing that really opened ways for me. So that's what we started with in the industry. Before that, I was actually studying civil engineering at university. So that was actually my background before I started to get into the fitness industry. I always was interested in it, in sports in general. I played basketball for a major part of my youth, from when I was 8 until I was 19. And I just started going to the gym to help that career or path along, but fell in love with the process there. And then I started to study on the sides along with me going to university. And it slowly just got a hold of me. My interest changed and my passion changed. And that's what led to this path. After I stopped then going to the university after 4 years of studying there, I decided that I didn't want to do or pursue that anymore and put my energy into it and spend the rest of my life doing that. So I actually just said, fuck it, I'll follow my passion and see where that leads me. And since then, it's been a slippery slope.
Just got sucked into it. It was funny because we were talking about when we met up in the gym in Hanforth, we were talking about engineering and sort of the parallels between training, right? And the way you do exercises and the different movements and the form. Maybe talk about how that's affected the way that you approach your work now, the engineering side of things.
Yeah, I'm always been a mathematical, enthusiast. It always interests me, like forces, physics, maths in general. And then going into the fitness aspect of me pursuing that, the nutrition is something that interests me a lot, but not as much as the training, because within the training, there's these directional forces, loads, angles, and this correlates close to what I was studying before. So it's not the same, obviously, because with one you're designing buildings, but you're using those same formulas to actually calculate the loads and the torque that's going to be generated in the muscle, and how the strength curves and resistance curves play a role in training as well. So it's really easy for me to make the connection there and to make my training or my clients' training more optimal, because I understand these principles behind it because of my background, probably. But that doesn't say that someone who doesn't or hasn't studied engineering can't grasp or use these concepts as well. There's just understanding the process behind it, and then making it applicable to actually the training sessions and the program design.
So what areas of fitness and training like most excite you? What really just turns you on?
I would say designing programs and actually getting people through workouts, and actually just the biomechanics behind it. So making a program fit somebody's structure and somebody's limitations as much as possible. So going through an assessment, looking where they are weak and getting them stronger there, and then actually just designing a program that will help them the best way possible to make progress from there. So it's always our belief to not just make progress, but actually maximize the amount of progress you could be able to make. So not just make a program that will get them some progress, but not benefit the most of, but actually like really try and perfect it as much as possible and get them as quickly as possible to their goals.
And do you work with a particular type of client? Do you have like your own niche, or do you do general population?
I haven't locked down on a specific niche yet, because that would make it more boring, I think, in my opinion, because you'd always have the same kind of people walking in. So especially in Strength House, we have power lifters, Olympic lifters, and we have CrossFit athletes, Gen Pop, so people who haven't trained even, who walk through the doors, this is going to be their first experience with the gym. Then we have bodybuilders or females that are prepping for a show. So it's a combination of everything, and that's what makes it so interesting, I think, and also enables me to keep learning and keep getting better at what I do, is because the people I'm training are so diverse.
So in your gym, how long has that been going for now, Strength House?
The gym has been open for 1.5 years now, so pretty recently, actually, so it just exploded from there. We opened the gym. Our thought process behind it was open a gym where every athlete would have the tools necessary to make progress. So not just the average fitness, average Joe, or not just the elite athlete or the power lifter or the strongman, but every niche within the fitness industry should be able to walk in here and not have anything short whatsoever. That was our goal from the beginning, because that was going to be the gym where we wanted to train ourselves, and we just designed a gym that we would think would be perfect for us, and then we could be sure that it's going to be perfect for everybody.
Yeah, because I know when we went to Hanforth, you weren't overly excited about the equipment there, right?
No, not at all.
It didn't really have the functionality that you were looking for, and so you had to really just you had to kind of like adapt to the space in order to try and make it work for you. How is your gym different to like gyms like the Gym Group or Pure Gym that are based here in the UK, where they've just got standardized machines?
Yeah, the problem is with the standardized machines, they pick one brand and just get the whole line of machines they have. So all their pin loadeds or plate loadeds, or even different, they just look for different brands and pick the cheapest machine of each line. What we did is we handpicked every single machine in here, and we also designed the floor plan so that would make it more efficient. So not having any free weights in between the plate loaded machines, or like some of the leg machines in between the back machines. So everything's pretty thought out. So if we have like leg curl machines, even if it's pin loaded or plate loaded, we're not going to put it next to a pendulum squat that targets the quads most. So we have a certain structure going on. So if you design programs later on, and if the people who are training here are training, for example, their quads, they're not going to have to walk past back machines, arm machines, etc., to reach that machine. So we kept it as structured and well thought out as possible, to make it as efficient as possible. Because it's not only the gym equipment in a gym that counts, it's the setup as well. Because if you have a hard time finding certain machines, or the setup is not as real logical as it should have been, that really plays a role in your training and training program design as well. And then the machines themselves are hand-picked. Some I have made adjustments to, like slight changes in the angles or adjusting certain seat positions, because I've found that the way the originally were designed was not optimal. Also, some weight stacks were ridiculously low, especially if you're going to target some elite athletes. You don't want to have to max out certain machines, because that would limit them in their training. So it's more of what machines work, what machines are good biomechanically wise and structure wise, and then just handpick them from there.
So it sounds like so much thought goes into just the equipment selection and just placing it in the right places. How did you learn that type of approach? Where did that come from? Is it from training yourself and just the experience that you've gone through? Where did that knowledge and an insight come from?
I think the main thing is that training yourself, because you have a lot of trainers out there that don't go through their training plans or do diets themselves, and they have no clue how it feels, so they can't relate to the clients. It's the same with the machine selection. If you haven't trained on a certain machine yourself, how could you possibly assess if it's going to work biomechanically wise or not? From the outside, it might look good, but it's the small details, the angles, how it feels, how it moves, that make the huge difference later on, especially if you have more elite athletes that come in. They will notice the difference straight away. And we have a lot of like Gen Pop people coming in that haven't trained before, so they can't really appreciate the machines from the beginning on. But then when you hear them come back from a holiday where they trained at a local gym there with just like regular machines from the popular brands or the marketing brands, they come back and they're like, holy shit, we didn't notice this before, but those machines are complete shit. I'm happy to be back here and train on this equipment again. And especially since we introduced the Prime equipment here, it's another league in equipment design. So you have like the plate loaded ones like Hammer Strength and Nautilus, who are pretty big leaders and pretty well respected. But then since Prime came along, it's another ball game. It's completely different. You can't compare it.
So in terms of like setting up the gym, like the business aspect of it, what is the process? How do you go from idea to where you are now, where you've got a fully operational gym with tons of members?
I think it's mostly trial and error, because setting up a business I had no experience with whatsoever. The only person I had access to ask these things is my dad, but that is a completely different niche. He's in construction, so it's not at all comparable with a gym. So we just went from, what do we need? We need a location. We need permission to host a gym or open a gym in that location. What is the square meters going to be? And then try and pinpoint, okay, we're in this area. What people do we want to focus on most? Because we need to think of our income as well. Then try and design the floor plan. So what do we spend more energy on and money on? Is it the look? Is it the machines? Is it the quality? Is it the cleanness? Is it whatever it is? You need to like lay out a base plan on what you need to focus on during the setup, and then it's just trial and error. Like first we had a bigger location where we had a lot more cardio equipment as well, because we would probably have had to focus more on like more members to keep it running. So we had a completely different floor plan and setup for that gym than we actually have now for Strength House. Since we weren't able to get that location because we didn't get permission to open a gym there. So fitness, a gym membership based gym, we had to change our complete plan again. So it was trial, error, adapt, and just see what is going to be most optimal at a certain location.
And then you mentioned the culture that you have in your gym, and that you've created like a culture where it's very open, everyone helps each other, it's very friendly. How important do you think that is to the success of your gym?
Very, very important. I've had how do you say this? I've went to like 20 gyms in Belgium because I couldn't find one that really got my attention, because either the infrastructure wasn't there, the opening hours weren't optimal, or just the atmosphere being there was so fucked up that it didn't motivate me to train at all, because whatever you did, you felt like you weren't welcome there. And they only wanted a certain type of people coming to their gym and not any of the others, because it didn't mean a lot of money to them, because that's not the main population group that would go to the gym. So we had from the beginning on a view that if you walked in Strength House, whatever you did as a sport or whatever your background was, you would be accepted, and you wouldn't be made fun of, or there wouldn't be like a competition going on. Especially with our fitness industry, it's already so hostile and not respected in general in society, because they look down on us for watching our food and taking supplements, and they see it as drugs and whatnot. So we're already like a group apart from the normal society, which then frowns upon us. So why within that society start breaking down each other as well? Because you have like the CrossFit athletes, then you have the strength athletes, the bodybuilders, and these groups are bashing each other as well, instead of motivating each other and helping each other reach their goals, because we're all working towards our health, towards our goals, towards like fitness in general. So I don't get why these type of groups then conflict with each other when they should be motivating each other. And the goal was, when we opened Strength House, all these athletes could be under the same roof, and instead of bashing each other, getting motivating from one another. And that's the atmosphere we were able to create. So everybody who walks in really feels welcome and feels motivated, even if they haven't trained before. They could be like an older woman just being on a treadmill, and next to her there's a guy deadlifting 350 kilos. And in a regular gym, this would not be possible, because either they would look weird or feel uncomfortable or whatever. But here they notice that these guys usually are the most friendly guys or helpful guys in the gym. And getting the people to realize this really helps in building a community, like you said, and a family feeling here. And that's what makes us so strong, I think. And that's why people keep coming and are more motivated to train and get more results. Not necessarily because they train harder or train more efficient, which they do, but that plays a smaller role, I think. It's just they keep coming back, because even if they have a bad day, they're like, I'm just going to go to the gym, chill out for a little bit, and I'll get motivated automatically. Like our lounge is something that's used regularly. They come in, eat their pre-workout meal, sit down, chill for a little bit, and then they find that motivation and like, okay, let's go train. And they see all these other guys working hard towards their goals, and you can't just walk out again and not train that day because you feel motivated by it. And 99% of the guys know each other here, even if they haven't known each other before. And they're like, what are you training? Chest. Oh, I'm training chest as well. Okay, let's go together. That's what's so awesome. And that's what creates that atmosphere here, and what makes it as good as it's been, I think.
Yeah, I love that. All the gyms I go to and have not got the same culture or community. It's very headphones on, head down, just work out on your own. You don't really have the same culture in most of the gyms I go to. Maybe there are some in the UK, but that's what I find over here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely are, but it's just so hard to find these atmospheres, because it's the way you approach it yourself as the owner or as the trainer there. How you treat the clients and treat the members is gonna be how the members treat each other as well. So if you show respect to everybody who walks in and helps them and shows them that they don't have to be a bodybuilder or a powerlifter to get respect there. They can just do their own thing, even if it's cardio, even if it's CrossFit, if it's strongman, or a combination of all of it. They're gonna get the respect as long as they work hard towards their goals, and that's what motivates people so much, because they know whatever I do, as long as I just work towards it, I'm gonna get respect. Even from the powerlifters who don't have the same goal as me whatsoever, or not even close, but they're gonna respect me just for working hard. Like in the evening, we have a CrossFit class working from 6 to 7 with coaching. So we have one of our coaches running that group, and they might be doing burpees and air bikes, and there's guys like deadlifting or warming up for the deadlifts next to it, and they see these guys fucking dying on the air bikes or dying during burpees and screaming and like going until they can't go anymore. And how can you not be motivated by that and do your best on your end? What you're doing, or what your goal is, if there's a guy next to you working twice as hard as you.
Yeah. So you basically set the precedent, you set the tone, and you create the culture by the way you interact.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing all your guys that work there have got the same philosophy as to help communicate,
Yeah,
and build that strong community. So how do you go from engineer, training people, setting up a gym, to now doing seminars and traveling? And how did you get into that space with Thrive and all the stuff that you're doing?
I think it's mainly just passion. It's a passion about helping people, helping other coaches, and if it's helping either clients directly or helping other clients through helping their coaches get better, is just helping and change the industry and overall health of people. Because we're in a spot in some countries, I'm not going to say all, but most of them, that we're in a really bad spot. Health is going backwards instead of forwards. A lot more injuries, bad posture, which leads to a lot of dysfunctions. And if we don't manage this through health and nutrition and supplementation, it's going to get worse over time. And we need to give the people this realization that it's not going to fix itself, and they can do something about their health just by doing certain exercises, or just going and exercise and watching their food, and not fall for the traps of society. If you're eating McDonald's 3 times a week, it's not going to hurt you. Yes, it will affect you, but people don't realize that yet. And that's what we need to make the people aware because it's normal to not be aware of it, because government and TV and all these influences don't tell you it's bad. On the television, it's constant advertisement for McDonald's, other fast food, burgers, whatever, but never any advertisement for going and exercise. And that's the main issue, I think, and especially with food, because if people then decide to do something about their health, they are mainly not thinking about the food, but just going for a run or going to the gym, while it's a combination of lifestyle, nutrition, and training. And getting this across to people is really what the passion is about. And if we can help one coach who then helps 10 clients, we reach more people than just coaching clients ourselves. So we have the knowledge present, and we're lucky to be in the position to be able to teach people this. But we really want to get this information out there and change the industry, because our industry is somewhat fucked, and there are a lot of people who are misrepresenting it and putting the wrong information out there just because they promise certain things that aren't achievable in a certain amount of time. But because of that, there's a lot of people who lose sight of what really needs to be done and what's the right way to do it. So by going into like fitness first and then opening my own gym, it was just the passion of keep learning and studying and getting better and better, that I'm now in a position to be able to teach other coaches to what's going to be the best way optimal, or what's going to be helping them to help their clients as much as possible. And that's where I pair up as good with Jake as we're doing right now, is because he's a math genius in nutrition and everything with functional medicine. And I'm on the other hand with training. So the nutrition part is something that interests me, but not as much. And the other way around, training is something he loves doing himself, but he doesn't love studying or getting deep into the science and on. So that's where we are yin and yang and just match each other perfectly. And that's why it's been so good and that's why we're growing so fast. I think is because we have that ability to really connect to people and show them our knowledge and wealth that they can take away from us.
Awesome. And I'd like to get more into that relationship and the seminars. I'm just going to switch. Yeah. This has died. So hopefully I can still do it on there, charge it for 10 minutes and then come back. Let's see if you can still hear me now.
Yeah, I have no problem hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, you can still hear me. Okay, I can just about hear you, but we'll do it this way for 10 minutes, then they should charge and I can go back into the pods. But how did you meet Jake? How did that relationship begin?
It began, so we were running the gym, me and Greg, for a couple months, I think like 7-8 months. In that period, I did one show, and after that show, it really went downhill with my own nutrition because I started ignoring my own nutrition more because it was getting so busy at the gym, and every time I felt I needed to make adjustments. Instead of making my own adjustments, I made adjustments for the clients we were helping. So it went into ignoring it and then into a bad downhill slippery slope where I noticed I was going backwards instead of forward. And that was the first time in my whole career that I felt that way. So that was up to the point that I said, okay, I need to have somebody I trust that has the knowledge, at least more than me, to just give out that part of the progress or the nutrition part out of my hands. So let somebody else deal with that. And I'll still do my own training because that doesn't take me much energy. And that's my main focus anyway. So through a physio that comes at our gym, I got to Jake's contact. I contacted him, and 2 weeks later we were up and running. And that's when it really picked off. We noticed each other's pluses, so what we could benefit from each other, and we pretty much grow really quickly from there.
Don't you think it's interesting that someone at your level who understands so much about health, fitness, and nutrition to a degree is still using a coach?
I don't really think it's rare, or at least not for me, because mainly all the best coaches out there have somebody else running their nutrition or training. Because coaching yourself is way harder than coaching somebody else, because you're constantly trying to flip things and taking advantage of certain things. And then there's the mental aspect as well, that you think, oh, is this really the best thing for me or not? And on top of that, when you're getting more successful as a coach or as a business, there's not much time left to invest it in your own health or in your own progress. And that was the main thing for me. Plus, the nutrition is something that interests me less. So I was like, if I can get somebody to do my own nutrition and learn a little bit from him there, that's a win-win for me, because I can still do my own training, which I'm more passionate about in nutrition anyway. And I might be able to learn some. And when you talk to Jake, after 2 minutes, you know there's a lot to learn from him, even if you're experienced as me or knowledge as me. He's just next level.
Yeah, his knowledge is mind-blowing. I was blown away myself, and I was like, whoa, I'm in over my head here. I can't keep up with with the stuff that he's saying. I'm like, this is crazy. And I was just like, wow. But what's it been like working with Jake, and how did you get to a point where you go, right, we can see an opportunity here now to create these type of seminars and travel and teach people? And how did that go from, again, an idea to what it is now when you're selling out these different venues and traveling all around the world? How did that come to be?
I think it's more recognizing each other's work ethic as well. Like I went after 2 weeks working with him as my nutritionist. I went out to a seminar of his in Manchester, and that was the first time ever since I've been doing this that I felt dumb sitting in a room, somebody talking about nutrition, and me just sitting there and feeling like, what the fuck is this? So the next week after that, I was on a holiday, and I spent majorly more than 50 or 60% of my holiday just studying. And I came back a lot more knowledgeable than when I left. And Jake probably noticed this as well, that I took a huge step forward, and even a field that doesn't interest me as much, just because I met him who knew a lot more about it than me. And that really showed my work ethic towards him. And the other way around as well, as we kept working with each other over the next couple of days and weeks on the nutrition part, I saw and see how hard he worked towards his goals and his business. And there we just really felt that we could really benefit of pairing up. And then as soon as we did, it really exploded, because I've never, except from my dad, met somebody who works harder than me. So every time I meet somebody who works harder than me, I can't cope with that, because I feel like if you're not the hardest worker in the room, just up your game, work harder. That's the main goal. You might never get better, but you have to try harder to be better. So that's mainly what happened with me and meeting Jake. Is since then I've really upped my intensity on trying to get better overall, and realize that there's a lot more to learn. I'm not done learning yet, and you never are. And that's what you need to be doing. Keep learning, because if you're not learning, you're moving backwards, and especially in this industry, because it's evolving so fast, and you need to be upping your game every week, every month. Even the seminars we're giving, we can give one on the first of the month, and then at the end of the month, and our content will have changed 30%, just because we kept doing research and kept finding better ways to do something. It's not because it was wrong what we were teaching 2 weeks prior or 3 weeks prior. It's just because we found a more efficient way and a better way to do it. And if you don't keep doing this, you're not going to keep being successful or reach more people. And that's mainly what we both do. Every time we are either sitting together when he's with me or I'm with him, or we're doing a Zoom call to catch up on each other, it's constantly like sending each other research papers, new studies, new ways. And it's just so motivating that the other part or the other business partner is working as hard as you are, because if it's not, it's going to create friction. And you don't want to be stuck with most of the work while the other is just being a lazy ass. That's where we pair up so well, is because we both have a vision and a goal in mind, and we keep pushing each other to like reach each goal we set out earlier than we actually could ever expect.
Amazing. Absolutely love that. I love the work ethic of you guys, because when I was with you, you were just constantly on it. Even whilst training, you're thinking about the seminars and talking about all these future plans that you've got, and just so juiced and passionate about what you do. So I absolutely love that. Where do you see the future of the training and Thrive and all the seminars and all the travel? Where do you see it going in the next 12 months?
I think we'll be surprising ourselves even in 12 months, because we've noticed we've been actually just doing this for 6 to 7 weeks, and it's been exploding since then. But we're not even maximizing the possibility or maximizing the potential there, because we're not really marketing ourselves. We're not using any ads at all, or like ways to reach more people with the program. We're not running any selling schemes or whatever. We're just going from mouth to mouth advertisement, and just every time we teach somebody or a group, they reach out to the people they know and say like, well, we went to this really great course with great content. And that's how we actually get new people along, is they tell somebody else about it, and they come and they reach out to us. So that's how it's been growing. And I think the more people we're going to reach, the more we're going to pick off, especially with the Thrive education, because it makes it more accessible to a lot of people around the world, because we don't necessarily have to travel to each country now, because we're doing the calls online live, which makes it really accessible to a lot of people in countries where there's not a lot of potential there maybe, but they have a business there, and either they would have to travel halfway across the world to attend one of our seminars, and now they can just sign up online and talk to us one-on-one or in a small group through Zoom or Skype.
So how does the different options work? So you just mentioned more of like a remote-based training there, but you do the seminars as well. What are the different like products you've got, and what things are you gonna release? Maybe higher level stuff later on.
Yeah. So we're now traveling across the world to host our seminars. So we have different modules. So module 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So these always focus on a certain aspect within the training or nutrition. So it's either going to be gut health, upper body hypertrophy, injury prevention, strength athletes, you name it. So we're actually going from country to country, depending on where there's the most interest in it, and hosting seminars there. So that's a one-on-one coaching, but it's only 2 days, and you have to limit yourself somewhat. If you're only going to teach a group for 2 days, it's only 15 to 16 hours you have with them. So it's not possible to go over the complete in-depth science behind it and not going to the full practical. But now we've launched Thrive Education, which is an online mentorship program where we teach people in really small groups, so 5 to 10 people max, and they go through a whole module over the time span of 8 weeks, where they have classes each week online, so taught live by us. They have additional information and slides sent out to them after each lesson. They have videos and instructional videos and research papers sent out to them. And then it's up to them to study these by the next session. And each time we build further into detail on that content. So this is, in my eyes, the most efficient and most structured way we're offering right now, because it's not a set individual small part of what could be going on. Like if we're doing a seminar on upper body hypertrophy and gut health in, let's say, Germany, but then we don't return to Germany for five months, and 5 months later we're doing another seminar, to really connect all the dots is going to be harder, or you have to have a more skilled coach being there to actually make all the connections there than with the education online. The education online provides a more structured way and a more total, in-depth thought process behind it, because we can really structure it from session to session and build on top of what we were teaching. And I think the goal is to the future that the online program will be a prerequisite for the camps or for the seminars we're doing, because then we can delve really deeper into practical and science on the seminars, because they already have that knowledge present that we taught them on the program. And it's going to be a more efficient way, and the people will take away way more knowledge and understand it way better that way than just attend a seminar and be blown away but not really be able to connect all the dots yet. And right now, part of the mentorship program is the master camp at the end, which will be held at Strength House. And this will actually be a practical camp where they really learn and assess and make programs for their clients or for themselves with all the information we've been teaching them over the previous 6 months. A lot of practical execution will be held there. A lot of training will be done. We will be going over blood work, organic acid tests, biochemical assessments with every coach there. And then we're going to learn them like, okay, we've seen this in module 2. We've seen this in module 3. And this is how you actually analyze somebody, and then use that information theory knowledge you've gained there to now make it applicable to the program you want to design.
So is it just the two of you that are doing this?
No, the business, so Strength House, I'm running with Greg. So Jake is not part of the Strength House gym itself. And then the Thrive that we're going to go forward with, so the supplements and the education and the seminars, is going to be run by all three of us. So it's going to be me and Jake teaching, but Greg is going to support it behind the scenes as much as possible, because we need people we can really trust and who work as hard as we do. And for now, that's the only 2 people I trust to do that.
Got you. Makes sense. Are we allowed to talk about the supplements that you mentioned?
Yeah, to some degree.
Are we allowed, right?
Yeah.
There's so much going on. So much going on.
So Thrive is going to be launching 10 supplements as well. Now, what they're exactly going to be is something I'm going to keep in the hat for now. But they're going to be products that are not out there yet. And if they're already out there, they're pretty much underdosed and overpriced, because the companies that are using these or making these are usually pharmaceutical companies who purely designed for the doctors and the hospitals out there. So really high level applicable applications, but the ingredients in it are usually either not optimized because the dosages are either low, or not all the products are in there that could be in there, because they know they dominate the market and have a monopoly there. So what we're going to do is, because we're teaching these coaches as well that can later use it, we're going to design products around dysfunctions in the gut, or dysfunctions in the hormonal system, or dysfunction in concentration. So if you have followed our education or our programs for a little while, and you see like somebody has a dysfunction in their microbiome, or has a dysfunction in producing HCl in the stomach, or they have a problem going to sleep. So we're going to have products for each of these things popping up, or symptoms. So we're going to learn people on why these ingredients are the best. So we have the tools and the science behind it, and the proof that these are actually the best and the best way to go. And we're never going to supply a supplement, or give somebody a supplement that's not going to need it. Because right now the market is dominated with BCAAs and whey protein powders and pre-workouts and whatever. But these are generally all useless in the grand scheme of things, in building actually a better health and building a better physique, because it's just marketing, and the marketing is done so well for these companies that people really believe these things and fall in the trap of these magical supplements that will help them get the craziest results and lose fat and build muscle in a short amount of time. But it's about time that there's going to be a supplement line, or somebody that says, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You have to work, and these supplements do work and help you towards your goal, especially your health. But they're not going to promise you like the sickest results in 4 weeks, because that's not realistic. And being in that position that we are teaching people on how to assess people, their dysfunctions, their limitations, and then giving them the accessibility to really good supplements that help with these dysfunction and these limitations will really change it. Because right now, if we assess somebody and we notice that they're short in a certain vitamin, or they're having a certain dysfunction, like gut health wise, we have to like prescribe 4 or 5 supplements to actually get all the ingredients that are necessary to treat that problem, instead of being able to say, this is all you need, and it's one supplement and everything's in it. The dosages are correct, and there's no marketing schemes behind it where they fantasize about this is the best and this is blah, blah, blah. But actually there's nothing in there that really makes a difference towards what it should be doing.
How do you do it all? How do you do the training, do the gym, do the SOPs, do the seminars, Thrive, all these plans? How do you manage all that? How is it possible to fit that all in?
I would say work hard, but if it's really a passion, it doesn't feel as work so much of the time. It's just total commitment, in my opinion. And the last day I've had a day off or a free day, I can't even remember, because I'm constantly working on this, and it's not because I feel I need to, it's just because I want to. And there's no excuses later to say, what if I would have worked harder or worked more towards my goal? I want to be able to look back in 5 years or in 10 years and not ask questions and what if. The only thing, if it failed, I could fail, or it could be disastrous or whatever, but it's not going to be of me not pushing it to the max limit. It's going to be because it was not going to work anyway. And that's where sometimes we work 18, 19-hour days straight for weeks on end, but making excuses or nagging about it is not going to help you. It's just, you need what needs to be done, and I don't stop, or we don't stop working until the job's finished, and not, oh, it's 10 o'clock in the evening, let's go to bed. No, that's not the fucking work ethic you need to have in life. Finish your fucking work and then rest, or go to sleep and get up the next day and do it again. And if you have a true passion for something, that shouldn't be so hard to do, because it's actually what you really want to do. So it doesn't feel like working for me. It's more like pursuing my passion and my dreams, And how much work that really takes doesn't matter, as long as you feel like you're doing everything in your power to make it happen.
What's really driving you then? Is it the process that you enjoy, or is it the destination that you're looking to get to? Is it legacy? Is it accomplishment? What is the big thing that you're going for, or what does drive you on the daily basis?
I think it's not really be satisfied as quickly as you should be. The reason why I changed over from playing basketball to bodybuilding is because basketball was mainly based on talent, and you could work as hard as you could, and it would not necessarily prove in what you were actually putting out there, because you could be working 20 hours a day as a basketball player, but if there's, at the end of the day, if the other guy is more talented than you, even if he goes partying on the weekends or not watches his food or whatever, he's going to probably beat you, or the other team is going to beat you, because it's a team sport. So the main reason my passion flipped so quickly is because this was something that was so challenging, and not only that 1 hour you're training, but the other 23 hours and 365 days a year, because every meal you skip, every workout you skip, every time you eat something else that you're supposed to eat is going to show over time. And that challenge, that extreme challenge where you have to do everything right or perfect to maximize the progress, that's what really drives me. And I always look for what's the next challenge for me, what's going to be next, what is harder, what is more difficult, and then go for that. Because if you can prove to yourself that you're able to do that, then that really shows your work ethic and how motivated and how well you can adapt to certain situations. And it's not about proving or doing this for other people to see, because a lot of the things behind the screens are never seen, or all the work that's put in is never appreciated or seen until you get to the success or the results. But you might have been working 5-6 years for this, and then they see one successful story and they think, oh, it happened overnight. No, it didn't. I've been doing this for fucking 10 or 8 or 5 or 2 years straight, and it's only showing now. I think a lot of people will be thinking this over time. Like, they will see that success next year or end of this year or whenever it is. Then they think, oh, he reached this in the last year. No, I've been doing this since I was 16. I've been working towards this since I was 16. So it's not because I'm only being successful now, or it's only reaping its rewards now, that is because I've been working only this time. It's because I've been grinding and putting my head down and work since I've gotten to this. Like, not with the business alone, but with training itself as well. People always ask, how long have you been training? How long have you been watching your food for this competition or to look this way? I'm like, 8 years. And then they're like, oh, and what on holidays? I don't do holidays when I can't train there. I've not missed one workout since I've been doing this 8 years ago. If I missed the workout, it was because I was sick. I should be resting. So always when going on holidays or on trips or whatever, I made sure that all the tools were there to keep working toward my end goal, because that's more important to me than just enjoying a holiday for 10 days. Because what really gives me rest, or gives me that sense of relief or relaxation, is being able to pursue this. And I'd rather train and work harder than going on a holiday and try and relax, because trying and relaxing would just make me think about what I'm not doing towards my goals. People don't get this. People see the success, but they don't want to put in all the work you're doing. People ask me all the time, why don't you just go out for a meal or take a holiday for a weekend? It's because I just don't want to. I don't care about these holidays. I care about going where I want to go. And that holiday is not going to bring me any closer to that point. So why go on a holiday if I'm not going to enjoy it? And that's why it's not hard for me to do this, because I want to do this. And people don't understand this. If you really, really want something, you're going to do everything in your power to make it happen. And if you're not, then you just don't want it.
I can totally relate to everything you just said, because sometimes I feel the same way, because I avoid certain social situations or going to certain places because it's not in line with where I want to be. And I would much prefer to be creating, growing, expanding, or working on my goals than wasting valuable time doing stuff that doesn't get me there, because it depresses me. Like, progression
exactly.
is good for your mental health. Like, it keeps depression away. It doesn't allow you to feel like you're not moving somewhere. And when you're moving somewhere, I think that's really good for the mind. And for me, I struggle to stop, but it's not because people say to me, you should take a break. You should relax. Like, taking a break and relaxing is working to me. I enjoy that. It's therapeutic. I like the process. That is enjoyable to me. That is fun. Do you know what I mean? So I can totally relate to you. And people don't always see it because they're comparing it to their life of work, which is actual work to them because they don't enjoy it. But when you enjoy something, it's not work. It sounds cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, it's therapeutic, and it's what you actually want to be doing. And I limit my circle of people I hang out with really, really close to the people that keep me motivated. And that's where, like Jake says this as well, like, you're the average of the 5 people around you. And if those 5 people around you are not helping you towards your goal, you're surrounded by the wrong fucking people, and just get them out of your life. Like, from the beginning on, I've been lucky to have 5 people around me that really support me towards my goals, whatever the fuck I do. Even if this limits me socially or not makes me able to go on holidays or to certain events, because I have to pursue this, and they understand and they support me in that way. But if you don't, and you're making excuses for this person has influenced me this way, just throw him out of your life. He's not helping you towards your goal. Why are you keeping him in? And people don't understand that you need to think about your goals first, along with the people you want to keep in your life. If those are supporting you, truly supporting you, and you're just pursuing your passion, your dream, they will stay there. If you're just keep going and keep that thought process alive.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree, Koen. What do you class as success? What does success look like to you? Because everyone has their own perception of success. Some people it's monetary, some people it's accomplishment, some people it's impact. What is success to you?
Looking into the mirror at the end of the day or at the end of the year, and being able to say I did everything in my power to get where I'm at or where I want to be. Like, if I would do a bodybuilding show, for example, and I would end up dead lost in the whole show, but I would be happy with the work I've put in, that's success to me. I don't give a fuck about placings. I could walk in the next week in another show where I place first just because the lineup is weaker. That doesn't make me a better bodybuilder or a better person or a better achiever, because it was just you being compared to the work ethic of others, while you need to be compared to your own work ethic. So people who win a show and think like, oh, I'm so successful, I'm so good. It depends. Like, you could have worked your ass off and could have done everything in your power to get there. But if it's just because the other guys were weaker than you and there was a lot of room left to improve, you just sucked balls and you were lazy. That's it. And at the end of the year, you want to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I did everything in my power to get where I wanted to be, and that's success in my eyes. Even if the business completely failed, or you've placed dead lost in your competition, or you've not even earned any money, as long as you have worked your ass off and you've did anything in your power to get where you wanted to be, that's success in my eyes.
Thank you so much. I really admire you and what you're doing. I've got a lot of respect for the journey that you're going on. It's amazing what you two are doing. And I wish you all the success. I'm going to put some links, obviously, in the show notes to drive people over to you so they can find you.
Yeah.
But where's the best place to find more about you, what you're doing, and everything that's going to be happening next year?
Since short, I've tried and put a lot more effort into the social media, especially Instagram. So if people want to follow the journey or get more information or see what my knowledge or approach is all about, then certainly there's going to be the most information out there. Then the other thing would be visit Strength House, but that's only going to be accessible to a certain amount of people across the world. And then if they want extra information, just contact me on Instagram or send me an email. We have a website that's going to launch soon where they can follow as well. But I'm not going to promise any dates by when it's going to be launched because we have so much going on and it's not the main focus at this point. But I expect it to be up and running by 1 January. But if it's not our main focus for now anyway. But I would say like social media it's one thing I've been trying to put more effort into because I want to get more free information across for people and really make people realize that there's a lot of false info out there. And you don't have to, it's not necessary to always ask money in return for something. So that's why we're trying to put as much free information out there as possible in our time we have available. So you're going to see some periods where we don't post at all because it's so busy. But if we do have some time, we try and really put effort into helping people, just putting out information out there. But it's not going to be main focus point because we do have to think about our business, and social media is part of it, but it's not our main focus point anyway.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing Christmas with your family and friends. We're only a couple of days away now. Yeah. And have a great new year as well. Have an amazing start to 2019. I hope you absolutely crush it. And we'll talk about maybe getting both of you on the show in the new year to do a duo podcast. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Koen. I'm glad we got there in the end. And I'll speak to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the show. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you did, head over to your favorite app and leave us a short review. I'd really appreciate that. And if you wanted to learn more about our products and services, head over to CoachingIgnited.com. And if you wanted an awesome website built for your coaching business, head over to our partner company, SavectaMedia.com. That's all from me. See you soon.